This may be the most ambitious thing we've ever done on the channel.
In this video, we are going to be turning our physical minis into digital assets to make the wildest battle report you've ever seen. And it's all thanks to our sponsor, Kiri Engine. Not only that, but in today's video, we're going to make some sweet SFX shots using actual minis that we've painted on the channel in previous videos.
So let's get stuck into it. It's tabletop time. 3D scanning using a phone or camera to create digital objects from images captured of the real world. It's pretty exciting technology, and it's something we have explored before. But today we are taking everything to the next level. We love making narrative, exciting battle reports and sharing our stories with the world. And we're looking to push the boundaries of what you can do with miniature battle reports to heights that have never been seen before. One of the challenges to filming miniatures is that cameras can only get so small, and we're filming action at a tiny scale. We've used a combination of drop-in special effects before, but we've always been limited by the angles that our cameras can shoot at and the tight corners we can get them into. Not only that, we've also got to worry about the orientation of the special effects assets themselves. So what is our solution? Well, we're going to digitize our entire board. And why? So we can do cool SFX shots like this. But to achieve that, we first need to scan our models and create digital versions of them. Years ago, this would have been a very extensive process, requiring specialized equipment and years of expertise. But now, with the power of Kiri Engine, I have that power in my pocket. So Kiri actually has a free version. So if you want to try this at home with your own miniatures, you can download it right now. I'm actually using a Google Pixel 6, but it is available on the Android or iOS app. So as long as you have a modern smartphone, you should be fine to go. So the way this works is you actually take photos of your object from every angle. I like to do a few turnarounds at different elevations to make sure I've got every surface covered. Once this process is finished, you simply send it off to Kiri for processing and get back your model. Kiri has this great feature called AI object masking. With photogrammetry, you often get parts of the background accidentally captured, contaminating the finished model. With Kiri app's AI object masking, the computer will automatically clean up these details, leaving you with just the object you wanted scanned. This feature is also smart enough to help you identify the models, which allows you to turn the model and change its orientation, letting you capture all sides of your mini. Some objects are really tough to scan using photogrammetry, such as simple single-colored objects or smooth objects like a vase. Kiri has a solution for that too, with their new featureless object mode that is currently in beta. It utilizes a nerf or neural radiance field to capture these traditionally troublesome items. All right, I've taken 70 photos of my object, which is what you can take on the free version of the app. This is suitable for small to medium-sized objects, and it's time for us to check out the results, so let's see. Wow, for a quick job, that actually has turned out really well. We actually have the Pro version, which offers a whole suite of new features and is only $10 a month or a massive discount at $50 a year. So while I used 70 photos on that, I can actually take up to 200. And this is going to allow for things to get even more ambitious, and that means bigger models. If you'd like to check out Kiri, the links are in the description below. As for us, we're going to take full advantage of Pro mode, but we're also going to need to practice and learn and show you how to maximize our results and really get the most out of photogrammetry. Not only this, but I have to learn some 3D software so I can actually do something with the assets once we've scanned them. So while I go upstairs and learn Unreal Engine 5, our always editor and sometimes cameraman Liam and the ever lovely Jenn and Murray are going to master Kiri and scan everything we need for our battle report.
We are in Studio 2 and we are scanning all of our Kiri stuff, and we have Liam here.
Hello.
Liam is our editor for Tabletop Time, and this is probably the first video you've been on?
Oh, I've been in the background.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and start scanning in all of the Space Bears and Tyranids. It's going to be a very, very long process, but you guys will see it in about a couple of minutes, probably.
Oh, lucky them.
Let's get to it. So So when it comes to taking our photos, there's something that is super important that we need to mention, and that is lighting. We need to make sure our photos are lit nicely so that we get really good results.
What we're looking for is a nice, flat, even lighting that we can take into our 3D software of our choosing, in this case, Blender and Unreal Engine 5. So we're giving ourselves a lot more options now and later by shooting it with nice and flat, even lighting, so we have the highest quality and fidelity.
So if you don't have access to an amazing studio like we do, you can take good photos too just by going outside on an overcast day. The clouds actually create like a soft box for you, and you'll find you'll get really good results.
Interesting challenge that we've come across is that our models are covered in snow, and snow is white, and white is a reflective surface. So what we need to do is make sure that this is not overexposed, we don't have any hot spots, or Kiri will just not understand what's going on, and we have to try again.
So we've got a heap of models to scan, but we need to go check on Dave and make sure that he's okay.
Hopefully he's not plugged himself into the Matrix.
Yeah, we should go check on him.
Dave's learning Unreal. He's doing it.
I know extremely basic Unreal 5.
So I've got a handle on the very basics of Unreal Engine 5, enough that I can start playing around with objects, transformations, lighting, world environments, and object placement. And while I've found that objects and models can be directly imported from Kiri into Unreal 5, with this program in particular, they're scaled quite small, and this can lead to some weird lighting artifacts. And we don't want this. So I've taken to moving them into Blender first, upscaling them about 100 times, and then re-exporting them. These fresh exports are perfectly fine to just drop straight in, apply the texture to, and they work fine. So I don't know what's going on with Unreal there. So I've got the first export of the hangar to work with, and that's where I'm doing a whole bunch of my learning. It's imported really well to Unreal Engine, and it's made me really optimistic for how the rest of this project is going to come along. But now there's a few different things I really want to explore. I think one of the biggest ways we're going to be able to make this feel like a real environment is to add in the world atmosphere. I'd really like to add some volumetric fog, a more moody lighting environment, as well as some particle effects, fires, and ambient lights. So with that in mind, a lot of my practice dabbling around with Unreal 5 has been focusing on learning how to make these rudimentary particle systems, and using these creating things such as fires, smoke, and snow. It's far from perfect, but it's worth remembering I've dabbled in Unreal for about a day, and we're miniature painters, so it's really exciting to see with just a little bit of dabbling and tutorial watching what we can achieve already. Once we have this environment fully set up, we will be able to produce cinematic shots in the digital environment, splicing from our footage of the board and the battle report into these digital scenes for some really cool SFX shots. Once we master more basic things such as lighting and explosions and flame, we'll be able to try out some more ambitious effects, including collisions, physics sims, and perhaps even breakable meshes. While anything we produce in a miniature painting YouTube channel isn't going to look as cool as Asadi's, I definitely think that we can nail that mid-2000s in-game engine rendered cutscene. This is going to be really fun. But now that I'm happy with the fundamentals, I'm going to need a lot more assets to start building this scene and creating our game. So let's go check in on Liam and Jenn.
Alright, so we've run into an issue with the AI masking it, namely with the white.
There is a lot of detail we're trying to capture and a large space. So what we're going to do is try to mask it, but in the real world.
So we've got a really good scan of the mountain, except the issue is that the software's done a really good job of the mountain, but it's sort of cropped everything else away from it. So we just have a mountain. So we're going to do a couple of things to try and make sure that the app knows exactly everything that we want.
And the way we're going to do that is with some black sheets.
Alright, done.
Brilliant. All right, let's take it upstairs. Wait, hang on. If I'm in front of the camera, then who's editing the It's still me.
So we've got the Stormbird that's going to be the star of the show in this video, and Murray is going to help me by basically holding it. This is a really big object, and to get a good scan of it on my phone, I'm thinking I'm going to need to take photos of the top half and the bottom half, and we need every side of it. So we needed a helper. Thank you, Murray.
Yeah, this thing's a little bit delicate, so you sort of need to hold it.
It'll be fine. Take a rest. It's time to start bringing this all together. And to do that, I need to get all the individual scans that Liam and Jen have done of all the isolated parts of the board and lay them out digitally, recreating it. Curie Engine app has this incredibly handy texture tool, and it lets you adjust the color values of the textures of your objects before you download them. This is really important because it meant that I could color match all the different scans. As a vast majority of the board is white because of the snow, it picked up all the light in the room, which led to a little bit of inconsistent lighting and coloration in the textures when we imported. Being able to adjust this on the Curie Engine app was super easy and meant that our board once again looked seamless and went together nicely. However, with all these individual scans, there were areas of overlap that I needed to clean up to make the board seamless. So I went into Blender and got the sculpting tool, basically just mushed all the edges together. Because computers are smart in a way that I am not, the textures all seemed to work fine. As long as I didn't change the number of polys, the textures just stretched slightly, video game style, which works really well for something like terrain. So the environment is all pieced together in Unreal Engine 5, but I want to make it feel a little bit more realistic, so it's time for some volumetric fog. I watched some great tutorials on how to put together a moving, sliding volume of fog, and I think it looks really nice and adds to the moodiness. Combined with my snow particles, I think this creates the vibe of a very icy snow planet quite well. With this volumetric fog in place, I can now upscale and import all of our individual props, and then place them around the board to replicate how they'll be positioned in the battle report. Any minor changes we make on the day can be matched in the digital environment super easily, which is one of the convenient parts of doing this in Unreal. So with everything in place, I threw in some lighting just to add some ambience. And now it's time for me to pass it off to Liam, exporting the project and letting him take over with some spicy cinematic shots.
With my photos from downstairs, I can now put it into Curie Web Engine. Unlike Dave, who's used his phone, I can use any camera that I like and pop it into the engine on the web. Curie Engine also has a wonderful tool for playing and editing, where we can cut little bits and pieces off our models that we don't like before we take it into Unreal Engine. Yeah, this is really nice for filling all those little gaps and getting some really nice bases for our models. So now we've made all the toys, I get to play with them. So in Unreal Engine 5, I get to make a ton of cinematics, so I can move a camera around in any way that I so wish, add a ton of atmospherics, lights, fire, flames, smoke, whatever, in order to make the most cinematic battle report that you've ever seen. I'm really excited, honestly. This is gonna be so much fun. Please keep in mind, we're very, very new to this. This is essentially a tech demo and we haven't had much time to practice. So by the time we get to the actual battle report, hopefully we can elevate it a little bit further. I'm excited to try gunfire, traces, lasers, acid, smoke, volumetrics that we can throw things through that interact with our models. Lots and lots of lens flares. Lots and lots of lens flares. What's something you want to throw in there?
Explosions! Gibbing! I want things to blow up and guts to go everywhere. I want to really get demonetized with this YouTube video with how gory we can make it.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, give us a tour. I love the lighting around the big the hangar area, and they're like, look at that! Look at the fog. Cool.
Yes, me learning volumetric fog was worth it.
100%, dude. It's so good.
That was probably the single most involved thing on this whole project. Was actually the fog.
I never thought that we could experience a first-person view.
Yeah, right.
in your table. This is so good. Look at that.
100% feels like a
Stormbird.
That's awesome, guys.
That is amazing.
We'd like to thank all of our patrons for your immense support. We have a monthly mini review and a private Discord for all of our patrons. So if you'd like to get involved with that, consider signing up and joining our Patreon. It really supports us to make these videos and keep producing entertainment for you on a weekly basis. Links are in the description. So there it is. What an exciting video this has been. And Liam, it's been fun to have you on this side of the camera.
It has been really fun.
So thank you so much to Kiri for giving us the opportunity and providing us with the amazing technology to start bringing our miniatures into digital worlds. If you've seen this and you're kind of thinking, how does this all fit with tabletop time? This is all related to what we want to do with our upcoming battle reports. We want to tell the best stories possible and bring in the elements that people love from the wider 40k world with animations such as Astartes, things like Emperor had a text-to-speech device, and really start to bring narrative to our battle reports. We want to tell stories with our characters, and one of the best ways we can do that is to digitize it and add to the production value. There's only so much we can do wobbling minis around on a table, and we're really excited to try some new and interesting things in the future with this. So if you're really excited to see our upcoming Tyranids versus Space Bears battle report, which now that we're ready, we're filming in the next few weeks, please consider subscribing and checking out the content on the channel. If you'd like to catch up with the saga so far for Space Bears and the Tyranids, these videos are on the channel as well. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you once again to Kiri. We'll see you in the next one.